What's up, guys? We are going live. Trying to see if we are getting connected here. I'm going to switch over to wait in stream. Okay, well, it looks like we're live. How you doing, guys? This is Adam with TAT Express. Thought we'd jump on live real quick. Just got done shooting today, and we're here at the new location, guys. 4140 Langdon Road here in Dallas, Texas. We're super excited about being here at our new location. So if you'd like to schedule an appointment, make sure to hit us up, 972-225-3017. I know this is an unscheduled stream. I'm going to try to get us on a schedule again so we can start streaming to you guys. But I just want to share some information about the Detroit 60 series. This is the video that I shot just today, and I'll release it later on this week. But the 60 series is something that a lot of people are, going after. They really believe it's a strong engine, but there's a lot more than just to see. Not all 60 series are the same. Is basically what the video that I just done about. And hey, I see everybody coming in now. What's up, guys? How you guys doing? Thanks for joining us. We're here at the new shop. What's up, bro? 4140 Langdon Road. We appreciate everybody's support. I'm gonna go online more so that we can stay in touch, guys. So the 60 series, now the 12.7 liter is the one I want to start with. Now the 12.7 liters, it started out back in 1998 is when the 60 series 12.7 liter came out. And it's a really solid engine. All the way up to 2000 and 2003. 2004 is really the year I would like to kind of stay away from, and I'm going to share some information on why here in a minute. But that 2000 all the way up to 2003 is a really solid engine. At 12.7, it's considered pre-emissions. So whenever you see an engine that's considered pre-emissions, it's going to be before 2004 when we're talking about 60 series. Now the 12.7, as I mentioned, very solid, durable engine, pre-emissions. Back over 2004 is really they start to change some things, and this is what I want to mention here shortly. The 14 liter is another strong proven engine as well. You're looking at 2001 is when that engine actually came out with a 14 liter, and it was in conjunctionally built with the 12.7 all the way up till 2007 when the 12.7 was discontinued. But 14 liter pass is a good solid engine as well. We're doing good. Hey, yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm back live. Appreciate it. Sorry, I don't have a valid excuse on why we haven't been going live. But right now I'm set up at our new location, going live. So, and I just shot a video about the 60 series, and that's what I'm covering now. So I appreciate everybody's joining us. So the 60 series 14 liter is where I left off, and it's a solid engine all the way up to 2004, the same as a 12.7. 2004 is really they started changing some items that I just made the engine just not as reliable as it used to be. I want to share a story with you on why I have a long time in the field with this particular engine, the 60 series, and not every engine is the same. Not every 60 series is the same. Just because you buy a 60 series, it doesn't mean you have the 12.7 or the 14 pre-emissions. There's some things that at past 2004, you're more than likely you have an EPA pretty much engine that's having EGR coolers, which I'm going to get to. I'm seeing everybody jumping on. I appreciate everybody's support. Everybody got somebody from Nashville. Let me know where you guys are watching from. I appreciate everybody that's joining us. It says love the channel from Nashville. I appreciate your support. I'm glad I'm here live as well. What's up, bro? Hope everybody's doing well, but hope everybody's staying cool out here. It's really hot. Make sure to get that AC service. I have a buddy of mine that's on the road. He's out in the oil field. He was telling me that he had some AC lines freezing up. Usually when you have AC lines freezing up, that's a restriction of flow in the condenser. I'm sorry, in the either the condenser or the evaporator. Mostly the evaporator if you haven't changed your cab filter. So make sure to get those cab filters changed. Shout out to everybody that's online with us today. I appreciate everybody's support. So back in 2004, the EPA, of course, is having some strict regulations on everybody that, all the manufacturers, and they don't have any choice but to create an engine that they can still sell in the United States. And I'm gonna share one thing real quick. Europe is really strict when it comes to emissions control, more than the United States. So guys, you should feel lucky to live in the United States. So the 14 liter all the way and the 12.7 all the way up to 2004 were forced to comply with EPA. So what they started to do, first Detroit added an EGR. Of course, we know what an EGR is, and they added a larger EGR cooler. And what they wanted to do is recirculate more exhaust gases in the cylinder. And I've brought this up before. This is considered an in-cylinder approach. What's up? Shout out from Texas and Phoenix. I'm here in Texas right now. So that's considered an in-cylinder approach. Whenever they're recirculating exhaust gases back into the cylinder again, that's considered an in-cylinder approach. This is their way of trying to control emissions. And what this did was cause the engine just to be, in my opinion, less reliable. And the story that I wanted to tell you is I was servicing. What's up in Dallas? We're here in Dallas now. I appreciate everybody joining us. Let me see here. Trying to move some stuff around. Maybe I shouldn't do it while I'm live. But it's been a while since I'm live. I'd like to move my logo on this side, but you know who it is. So basically, they're backwards designing the 60 series and adding an EGR cooler, which I mentioned is an in-cylinder approach. This raised the temperature. In my opinion, the engine sounds a lot different. Back to the story, I was servicing a fleet of these EPA 7s, which is, of course, 2007 14 liter with the DPF filters. And when we get these engines running correctly, the difference in the noise on how the engine runs, it sounds a lot more ragged. It just really loud. It doesn't sound like it's pulling well. It sounds like it's either starving for fuel or air. There's always an issue with something going on. Ray, I'm sorry I didn't get to your message, man. I didn't know what you I know everybody's trying to let us know what we're watching. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody's support out of Atlanta, Georgia, Virginia, Texas in the house. Texas is hot. I know Nevada's even hotter. Heck, everybody in the South is probably hot right now. Guys, be safe out there. I appreciate everybody's support. So not only did they did the in-cylinder approach with the Detroit 60 series, 14 liter, and the sounds of the engine just sounds a lot rougher. Everything sounds a lot rough. It doesn't sound as smooth as the pre-emissions. So this is why I'm not a big fan of the 60 series, and I'm not pushing the 60 series so much. Like, hey, go get you a 60 series, because there's more items I'd like to mention about the 60 series. If you do get a pre-emission, say you get one, a 2004 or whatnot, 4.7, or I'm sorry, 2003, prior 2003, rebuilt 3 times. Say it's already be rebuilt 3 times, which is, what would that be? That would be 3 times would be 3 million miles. You got to ensure that the chassis is going to be rebuilt as well. So what I'd like to mention to you is, just because the engine is freshly built and you have an issue, you don't have any issues with the engine, you could have some issues with the chassis. So I would like to bring that up, because the chassis is going to have to get overhauled as well. I've got my DD15 and it sits for a couple of months, a year. Each time I come back to it, I have issues with it. Last time, the radiator core. Before that, the DEF system. Any reason? Well, when you're sitting, what I would like to mention is make sure you're changing out your filters, like your DEF filters, your coolant filters. Make sure you're checking your nitrate levels on your cooling system. Make sure you're not running too much water in your cooling system, because if it gets cold, of course, you can rupture. You want to store those trucks with some good fluids, solid, new fluids, not old fluids. So that's what I would recommend to you. So in keeping on the 60 series, I know 12 liter or a 14 liter Detroit, what's better, in my opinion? So 14 liter or 12 is good prior to 2004 is what I'm mentioning to you. But this is what I'm trying to get to. When you find one, say, like I said, you find a good one that's been rebuilt second time, third time, that's 3 million miles. That chassis is going to need to be rebuilt as well. That suspension, all that is going to need to be rebuilt. So keep all this in mind, guys. When you jump into an older model like this and you think it's going to be road ready, and you go and you pull, say you start with some containers and you pull some volume is low, bro. Good day. Okay, so if the volume is low, thanks for letting me know. Let me pump it up. How's that? How's that going? There you go. New microphone setup. So thanks for letting me know. Who was that? Frank? I appreciate that, Frank. So what I mentioned is this 14 liters, these 12 liters that are in these older model engines that are not safe going down the road if they have the chassis hasn't been being rebuilt as well. Another item I'd like to mention about the 14 liter and the 12.7 liter after 2003 and 2004 is they started to remove metal out of the head. So when they did this to kind of cool the engine, keep the engine cooler, since they're recirculating more EGR gases. Of course, it's going to get hotter. So what they did is they removed more metal out of the head, which makes these heads very vulnerable to warping or cracking. So this is another reason why I'm not a big fan of the 2004 and beyond on the 60 series. And this is another reason why the 60 series aren't all the same. Everything is different. Sorry, phone in my pocket on the service call, trying to listen at the same time. I appreciate that, man. You can play it back, but I'm going to try to come on more often with you guys, so that I know that I pretty appreciate everybody's feedback. We've been having some solid work in the shop. I appreciate everybody that's been coming in. I have a 14 liter in the shop today, and we're not working on the 14 liter. We're actually working on his fifth wheel. And I just shot a video that I'm going to be releasing, basically just covering what I'm covering in this live today. And I also would like to share some information about where we're looking with the trucking industry, guys. So stay tuned. If you got some issues, I knew somebody was going to bring up gliders. I've seen the Fitzgerald gliders. And what I want to mention about gliders is EPAs are going to get, they already kind of started looking at that. And another item that I didn't mention about these 60 series, and I'm not trying to bash 60 series, but back in 2007 is when they stopped manufacturing 12.7 liters. So now everything has been remanufactured. And I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of these parts are very bad. They're trash. They've been remanufactured so many times, and it's nobody's fault. I'm not blaming no vendors. I'm just, the process of not being, they're not manufacturing the parts anymore, so they're just remanufacturing them over and over. And I've seen parts, metering valves for the DEF systems. I've seen EGR VPods that are just going bad. And if I'm sticking on the 60 series, I know I have a DD15 behind me, but I just jumped online today because I wanted to see how everybody was doing and let you guys know we are in a new shop, 4140 Langdon Road. It's very nice. It's breezy. It's really breezy. I need your opinion on a 60 series Detroit 14 liter EGR. What year is basically what it's kind of what I'm going on about this video is what year is it? If it's past 2004 is really the ones that I'm not too big of a fan of. I'm not saying just let it go to crap, still keep up the maintenance on there. How's my new shop? It's nice. We just moved in yesterday. We moved in over the week, and we're getting everything still situated. We have some guys out. Got on vacation. He took vacation he wasn't planning this move. We've been trying to chase the date for such a long time, guys, and I'm very excited that we finally moved in and putting this build behind us, and so I can focus more on getting more content to you guys. So I shot the 60 series video today, and this is what I'm discussing now. And I want to share some more information about the industry, guys. I know there's a lot of guys jumping out there and getting your own trucks, and that's really good to hear. But I would like to mention to you guys is you got to be prepared when it comes to saving up for maintenance and having all this in place, your financial setup. What I would recommend you do is probably start with a larger carrier, maybe with Landstar, somebody that has equipment's at a shortage right now. Getting set up and getting under your authority is not easy, guys. It's a long process. It's not something that's going to get done overnight. So what I would suggest you do is get in maybe a driving school with a bigger company to get into the industry. Guys, if you're watching us and you're sitting at home and you don't have much to do, I would suggest you either go out to get your license and be a truck driver. There's a lot of work that's out here right now. I was watching some KPIs. And let me get back. KPIs are like key point indicators when it comes to freight. What I want to share with you here shortly. And let me get back to some of these questions. I was shooting today, so pretty excited about being in a new shop and how hit us up on Super Chat, guys. I haven't. It's been a while since I jumped on. So if Super Chat's available, make sure to turn that on. Or send me a Super Chat. Let me see what's going on here. A lot of questions here. Everybody's making comments from Vermont. How's the weather up there? Are you guys hot up there? I'm looking for my first truck. What engine would you recommend? Thanks. I'm worried about the DPF. That year, would you recommend? Okay, so if we're talking about a DD15, is what I would recommend if you're going with a Detroit. And the reason why I would say DD15 past 2015 with a good solid maintenance history, because a lot of people, a lot of shops are going to be able to service that truck. Parts availability are still there. So it's a solid truck. Now, maintenance is very important. Detroit redesigned their whole platform. The 60 series, what they were doing is just bolting on items to the engine that wasn't actually designed to have these after treatment devices on it, or these after treatment components. So they backwards designed the engine, which just caused it to be a lot less reliable than it used to be pre-emissions. Now, if you get a pre-emissions truck, that's fine, but make sure it's safe to go down the road, because we don't want you swerving over in other lanes or coming off the highway. And you know, accidents are very unforgiving. Any accidents, they're very unforgiving. But when you have a heavy load and you lose control, it's very scary, and it could end really quickly, guys. So be very careful when you're buying these older trucks and when you're hauling down the road. So so we're talking about the DD15 was redesigned to meet these standards. Okay. 2015 is about the best year to get on a DD15, just because a lot of the problems were already kind of worked out. As for the 60 series, here they go after 2004, adding a larger EGR cooler, removing material from the head. Everything was basically the same, the block, the crank, but the bolt-ons is what really changed and made the engine less reliable than it used to. Now, and 2015 is really after they worked out all the problems on the DD15. So that's what I would recommend, guys, if you're barely jumping in. And if it's your first truck, guys, get in your own authority and get in on Market Freight. Market Freight, I'm gonna tell you right now, is paying good. I see articles on it about Market Freight being the highest it's ever been. It's breaking numbers. So that's good. But the thing is, it is very tough to get out here and get your truck ready, get your trailer, get leased on, get inspected, get services done, see how your truck is actually running. Probably have to get some repairs before you even make any money. Finding the right shop, getting your licenses or your insurances in place. All this is very expensive. So if you don't have enough money saved up and you don't have the experience, getting out there and learning on your own is going to be very, very frustrating, and it's going to be very challenging. I'm not saying you can't do it, but I would just suggest running with a bigger carrier, maybe getting started, getting your money stacked up. And there's an article that I read over the weekend, and it's still the weekend. But this article talked about how the capacity wasn't really growing; it was shifting. It's like whenever the pandemic hit, a lot of the capacity, which is all the trucks and the truck drivers, kind of shifted from the larger carriers, because actually from the smaller carriers to the larger carriers, trying to get freight, because the larger carriers still had the dedicated freight. Now that there's such a high demand, and I'm going to talk about the KPIs I talked about earlier, but so with the high demand that's now in place, it's just keeping a really big strain on the market. So now a lot of the carriers are moving over to smaller carriers instead of the larger carriers. Now, if you guys aren't too familiar on how trucking works, you're considered a carrier if you're the one moving the freight. Now, you can be power only with somebody, which is just getting your own truck and joining somebody and actually leasing onto them and using their setup, and they charge you a way to get on with them, and that's how you kind of learn the system. If you're not ready to get your own truck and you don't have money saved up, then I would suggest you go get your CDL and get out here and get driving. It would be nice if maybe the United States would maybe get drivers or have high schoolers coming out as a driver, if they don't at least join the military or have some kind of trade that they need to be getting into. Because we guys, one thing that I kind of realize is, yes, we are going to be rebuilding America, and America does need to be rebuilt, but we're not going to be able to rebuild it from home, guys. So if you guys aren't at work and you're not out here making a difference, then get out here and get to work. we're going to be releasing some courses that's going to help you guys, guide you to actually be technicians. So I'd like to get some feedback if you guys are interested in those types of courses. I've had guys call me from like Canada, and shout out to everybody that watches us from Canada. Shout out to all our viewers from Canada. I'd love to visit Canada one day. But I had a viewer from Canada call me, and he was moving over to diesel, and he had some questions. And guys, I try to answer everybody's question that's coming in, but sometimes it's just tough to get across or get everybody or be able to answer everybody, especially if we have a list of troubleshooting jobs that's going on in the shop. I have a 14-liter Detroit reman. It's as is. Okay. Yeah, no, you know what? I'm not saying the 14 liters bad. You know, I'm not too big of a fan after 2004. DD15 engine blown apart for the third time. Can I put the engine and swap on a 4 point? Okay, so he wants to swap the engine. How did that blow up on you? That's interesting to know. Let me see. I don't mean to jump around. I'm looking to buy my first truck. I think I got that guy already. Any way to get rid of the Bendix Wing Am Advanced System? Oh man, the Pro Stars, you know, those internationals, when they start actually mixing your ABS and your braking system together, integrating that is what I'm trying to say. Man, it's very problematic. But what a good thing is, Bendix sells some really solid software. It's not cheap, but if you use a shop that's familiar with the software, you can get those problems solved. Some problems are problematic on the older trucks. You can have communication issues on the J1939. Saludos. Hey, how you doing? How you guys doing? So hopefully that's internationals. I'm not too big of a fan of international Pro Stars. You know, I had a guy that has a fan hub that went out, and it's like it's on back order. You can't even get the part right now. It's really interesting about that. So have a DD15. What are the most tools in your opinion? The must-have tools, of course, are going to be heavy-duty wrenches. You want to have a good solid set of wrenches. Don't get any cheap wrenches. Some good sockets. A lot of stuff is battery now. You got battery impacts, battery impact ratchets are good. Get the good quality stuff. Don't get the cheap stuff. It just makes your job a lot easier. Keep the idea at the end and start talking about three things and up to something else. Well, thanks for joining us. You know, I'm talking about, it's about everything, bro. So this is what we're talking about. I'm talking about the industry as well. I'm excited about the trucking industry. The one thing I wanted to bring up about KPIs on the ports is something that I read, which is really, really interesting. It talked about how they measured how much time things were happening at the port, and one of them was how much anchor time was happening to the ships. So anchor time is how much time the anchor is down on the ship, of course, and regular is around 3 days. Right now they're saying it's 8 days. So guys, even the ports need help right now. So if you're not even working and you don't want to get into a truck, go apply for the port, work at the port. They're trying to figure out ways to turn trucks around faster at the ports. And, you know, I've seen some comments about somebody trying to say it's something else that's causing the congestion. Honestly, it's just a high demand, and we're not even in the back to school shipping yet. Wait till back to school shipping hits, and this is just going to cause a bigger congestion for everybody. So keep up with your maintenance. You know, when we talk about 60 series and you want to jump in and you buy a 60 series that's not road ready, and you're pulling this retail freight, you know, it can be really dangerous. So sending out a big shout out to you guys from Transwood. Okay, Transwood Trucking. Okay, what's going on? Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, that same article about carriers talked about that a lot of carriers shut down in 2008 when the pandemic hit, but the same amount has already re-registered, and they noticed there's a lot of carriers that actually shut down early. And what that tells us is that people are jumping in the industry without knowing too much about what's going on, and either running out of money and having to shut down. So as soon as they're jumping in, they're running out of money. So this is what information that I'm kind of sharing with you guys at the beginning as well, is jump on with a larger fleet, kind of learn or be a driver and stack up some money before coming in And you guys that aren't doing much at home, be a driver. There's not, I mean, if you're going to be laying down, you could lay down in the back of the truck when you're done driving for the day. And if you feel comfortable about doing truck driving for a few years, it would be a perfect service for our country. And not only that, I recall that I did a live a few months back, and there was a viewer, and we get a lot of viewers out of the United States. Shout out to everybody out of the United States. And this viewer was saying, hey, they wanted to come to the United States to be a truck driver. It was like their dream, and that was just amazing. What's the cost of total truck cost inspection, credit line, repayment for repairs? What is the question about? It seems like your question is about what is the total inspection. Well, it just depends on how far you want us to go into the truck. If we're doing compression tests, which I highly recommend you guys do compression tests on these DD15, especially somebody that has the software. It's really easy, and there's a lot of information that you can get from a compression test and a balance test, and just basically using the computer to find the condition of the truck, running regens. I appreciate everybody's support. Running regens is very important as well. And I know we started this video off about 60 series, and guys, I'm going to be releasing the 60 series video later on, which basically just discuss what I just said at the beginning of the video about the differences in the manufacturer. And this is kind of why I'm not too big on the 2004 60 series. I live in Canada. I have a 2012 Western Star that's deleted DD15 that blows apart for the third time, and the engine swapped to a 12.7. Now, this is why I'm not a big fan about deletes, guys, because look at this guy. I mean, here's a viewer saying, hey, he lives in Canada. He's a 2012 Western Star, deleted DD15, blown apart 3 times. Now he wants to swap it to a 12.7 to a 14 liter to a 60 series. Now, Devin, now it's not going to be possible to swap a 60 series without reprogramming a lot of computers that are on, not a lot, but you have one on the truck, it's not going to start. So you're going to have someone that knows how to do that. We don't do that, but Detroit doesn't make it too easy to swap with a different engine model into a chassis. Usually it's going to be the same model engine that you pull out. But I would like to say that delete, guys, I know you guys are like, hey, deletes are the best, but trust me, guys, you don't want to go with a hack delete. A $1,500, $2,000 delete that is trying to patch up a $20,000-$30,000 system is a very big gamble, guys. And not only that, this is what I see. I see turbos coming apart. I got a guy that's in the shop that had to get towed in, and here we're troubleshooting the truck for after treatment problems, and he tells us that it's deleted, but the filters are still in place. It's very odd. You know, the hack deletes that are happening, that's not the same thing that they're doing to each truck. So this is why I'm not a big fan about deletes, guys, and this is why I always talk about how deletes aren't the best. So don't do a delete. If you just got a truck and you're just having some after treatment problems, have it looked at first. See what it's going to cost to fix it before making a decision on trying to get a hack delete, because it can cost you in the long run. This guy says he's selling his 2013 Freightliner Cascadia. You know, that's a tough year to get rid of. Like I said, 2015 is usually whenever they went with they basically fixed a lot of the problems. So 2013, 2012, those are pretty tough models right there. There's still some items that were getting worked out. So shout out to everybody that's joining us today. Pretty excited about this live. Been shooting all day. Monetization's off on this. Let me turn this on. Hit us up on Snap. I'm sorry, on Cash App if you guys have learned anything from our channel. I appreciate everybody's support. I appreciate everybody that's come by the shop. Hope we were able to meet or exceed your expectations. Guys, we are hiring at our new shop. If you are an experienced diesel technician, come apply. Give us a call. You can send us your resume or give us a call if you're interested in repairs and being a diagnostician. This is the place to be. We get a lot of problems come in, and it's great. We're excited that all these problems come in, guys. And when you come in, make sure you're sharing everything that's going on with the truck, because it's very useful to help us find what's going on with your truck. It's kind of like going to a doctor. If you haven't ever been to that doctor and you have, you know, something going on with you, it's nice to share everything that you've probably eaten or haven't eaten, or what you've, you know, same thing with a truck. And we see a lot of trucks come in with no maintenance, and, you know, with no power issues. So for us to find the source of the problem of no power, you know, we have to ensure everything is up to par with the engine. Maintenance is up to par. So, and if you have somebody that's already looked at the problem and maybe had a suggestion or did some other work, then that's some very useful information for us to find out, whether it's chassis work or tire work, any kind of work, any kind of prior repairs is very, very, very useful. PACCAR or Cummins, both are the same year, 2021. Now, just that's a very new model truck, so you're gonna have a warranty on that. You know, I'm not a big PACCAR. PACCAR service and PACCAR is kind of a challenge. It's very tight. And Cummins, it still have some issues with the heads that I see before 500K. Keep up with maintenance. It's basically, any engine is a solid engine if you keep up with maintenance, in my opinion. And I'm not going to down a Cummins. I'm not going to down a PACCAR. Both of those are some strong engines. But I've had a call from a customer, a viewer called me earlier during the week. Shout out to everybody that's joining us today. And they have a PACCAR, and they had a PACCAR issue or after treatment issue on their PACCAR. And what they wanted to do is basically delete it. They had somebody do a patch job on it. And let me tell you something about these patch jobs where they're disconnecting sensors so that you can continue to drive that truck. If you have a filter that's already clogged up with soot, and you bypass whatever alarm or whatever protection that you have on that engine, you're creating excessive back pressure on that turbo, and you're going to end up failing that turbo and causing the repair to even go more expensive. So that's something that you want to keep in mind. So bunch of questions or bunch of comments. Appreciate everybody coming in on chat. Hit us up on Super Chat. I just turned on monetization. So if you want to hit us up on Super Chat, hit us up. That way we can highlight that question for you. 350 million on it, and it dropped the liner. Okay, so if we're talking about a 350,000 mile or million miles, that's a lot of miles. All right, that's got to be a 350. And then what are we talking about, John? A lot of comments. I appreciate everybody that's joining us today. You know what I'm gonna probably do is try to get everybody's phone calls to come in, so maybe we can have some phone calls during the lives, guys. But bunch of questions, bunch of comments. I appreciate everybody joining us. Buying a new truck, 2020 Kenworth. That's a next gen. What's your opinion on the PACCAR engine? The engine was out of price range. The Cummins is gonna be out of price range. They're still kind of high. If this is your first truck or you have history with Kenworth and you like Kenworths, go with a Kenworth. It's fine. You're going to have a warranty on it. Just be sure that it's road ready. I've seen stuff coming out of the dealer that's had some issues. I'm not, I need to do more research on PACCARs. I don't see enough PACCARs in my shop. I'm more of a DD15 guy. 2015 and above on the DD15. They're solid engines. They've already worked out a lot of the bugs. My PACCARs are just going to be a little bit more challenging to work on when it comes to the software not being as user friendly. Being able to access the information is a little bit different. I'm not saying it's that challenging, but it's doable. I don't like how tight it is to the frame. Very tight. I understand the Kenworth is a good truck for turning, and that's why a lot of people like the Kenworth. But doing that, you're restricting the area where driver or where technicians can work. It's not a bad truck. It holds value. It does hold value, but just keep in mind that it's going to be a more expensive truck to maintain. I've had harnesses go bad and sensors go bad on a PACCAR, and the parts are higher than Cummins on those. So keep that in mind. Let me see. There's newer enough tools for the technician. That's for sure. There are always tools to keep up with, guys, and information as well. Information is always good to keep up with on these trucks. Shout out to everybody that's come by. I know we've had a lot of customers come by from the channel. We appreciate everybody's support. I know you guys are getting these after treatment service, so we always recommend swapping the filters and not waiting for your check engine lights to come on. So guys, I appreciate everybody that's viewing us today. We got 62 3 viewers right now. Make sure to hit that like channel or hit that like button. It's been a while since I've been live, guys, but I shot today. We shot the 60 series video, which I'm going to be releasing, just basically everything that I just talked about, you know, why I don't really push for the 60 series, kind of falling apart by the time you get one that's already rebuilt. And whoa, bunch of comments here. How about the gliders? I think I talked about that. My shop is located in Dallas. Snap. I'm sorry, chat. My guys here, 4140 Langdon Road here in Dallas, Texas. We're just off of Bonneview, right behind the Premier Truck Group here in Dallas. We're very accessible. Call to make an appointment, 972-225-3017. We're still moving our shop over. I got some guys out, so we're limited on resources. So the guys that we have in the shop, don't worry, we're taking care of you guys. We're a little bit on a turnaround. A lot of guys are busy right now. If you need service, it's a lot of expect every shop to be pretty much busy right now. Service is pretty tough. This is kind of why I mentioned to you guys, if you're not doing much at home and you want to be a diesel technician, this is a good field. If you want to be a driver, it's a good field. If you want to be in the warehouse, everything to help is very, there's so much work out here, guys. What's going on? Book, love the videos, keep it up. Okay, special service tools, made the Series 60 DD13. Maybe someday you'll do a shop box tour. I can do a shop box tour. We moved all our boxes over yesterday, actually. We moved all our, and my lead tech, shout out to Israel if he's watching. My lead tech brought all his boxes. Man, so many boxes, and yeah, it's never ending. The tools are never ending. Speedometer freaking out. Check engine light coming on. I changed the speed sensor and the oil pressure sensor. Still having problem. Any clues on why? Eric, thanks for the comment. Check your tone wheel on the back of that transmission to make sure it's not loose. If it is loose, it's not going to be spinning with that drive shaft. If that's their output shaft speed sensor that's on that particular setup, that would help you. Yeah, Henry, I appreciate the shout out. Everybody on here that's coming in from chat. Appreciate everybody's support. We're going to be going live more often, and I'm going to be releasing the 60 series video. We just got moved in, so there's a lot of videos that we got to get out to you guys. So I appreciate everybody's support. Got another comment here, 1.3 million on the 14 liters, still running strong, no rebuild, yet very reliable. The 14 liters are good, and I'm not saying they're bad. If you have a 2004 that's older, just maintain it. Don't let it go to crap. Keep it maintained. Do your suspension work, guys. Don't neglect your gearbox. Your all that suspension work is very important. Don't go too far. What do you charge for a 2018 ISX overhaul? Hit us up on info@tatexpressinc.com. Send us your information. We can get you an estimate over the phone, or just send you an email. A lot of the stuff could be reused. I wouldn't do the head, of course, but if some of the stuff is really rotted out or corroded, the cost of the overhaul can go higher. But we get you an estimate. How much for a DD15 2015 overhaul? It's not cheap, guys. We go with OEM parts, and what I'd have noticed is the parts are starting to get a little bit scarce, man. How about the Mercedes MBB 4000 non-EGR? I wouldn't no, it's just an older, man, that's such an older engine. That's kind of like the M14. Not as durable as the M14. The Mercedes really has a head for each cylinder. So instead of a inline 6 having one head for all 6 cylinders, or the M14 that has one head for 2 cylinders, this one has a head for each cylinder. Lines going, it's a pretty complex engine for its year. I wouldn't go with it just because the parts availability is almost extinct. So I would know I wouldn't mess with the Mercedes, but appreciate you. Louisiana in the house. What's going on? I think my dad's going down into Louisiana. Get some water, get some hydrated, guys. Appreciate everybody joining us. We're still talking just about the trucking industry. I'll share some information. I'm answering some questions. So, guys, if you're all been out of shape that I'm not on the 60 series and just staying on the 60 series, then don't worry. I'm going to release another video later this week that's going to get you all just your 60 series info over. But I appreciate everybody that's joining us. Louisiana got that good Cajun food down there. I really like Louisiana food. The mosquitoes are huge, though. Would you recommend a Cascadia after 2015? Yes, I would. I would. You know, if the price is right and the maintenance is there, I would definitely get a DD15, a 2015, especially if the maintenance is there. Don't expect to get a truck that has no maintenance, zero maintenance, and just jump on a road and not have to spend any money. Okay, if you don't have proof of maintenance, you may have to spend some money, guys. And you know, I appreciate everybody that comes to the channel, comes from the channel and visit us. I would appreciate everybody's support. Everybody's coming in. I really enjoy meeting everybody. Love Texas in the house. Yes, appreciate it. I like getting that info out. We need more professional drivers here in Transworld Trucking in Memphis, Tennessee. Well, you know, we're trying. Everybody's got to get back to work, man. We can't rebuild America from home. If you're coming out of high school and you don't have too much plan, get on the road, get your license, get some experience and make some money, or become a diesel technician. You know, diesel technician is not an easy job as well. It takes a lot of patience, and it's going to take a lot of time to build your craft. Whether a driver has craft or a technician has craft, it takes time. Cali hot, boy, I bet it is. It's hot everywhere. Texas is hot. I like to shop. We're elevated. We got exhaust fans coming in. It's still hot, but you know, it's not as bad where we were. We were at not a lot of breeze in that shop, and really excited about how much space is in this place, man. Like we got a truck and trailer and about 3 units parked in the parking, and about 4 units inside. I'm really excited how much space everything looks like. We still got to get some furniture hooked up for you guys for the waiting. So I appreciate that. Alex, is true. TAT Express is looking to expand in the Northeast. We're trying to expand, guys. It's not easy to find qualified technicians. If you're interested to join our team and you're out of Texas, give us a shout. It's not, you know, if you don't want to relocate, maybe we could talk about opening up other locations. If you're qualified and you're driven, it's all about having the drive to be a diagnostician. Is basically what's needed when you want to find out problems on these after treatment systems and you want to keep guys on the road. And just being able to find these problems is not an easy fix. Very informative live feed. Thanks for the live. I appreciate it. Yes, sir. I'm trying to get as much information as possible, so I appreciate everybody joining us. If you have a 60 series, it's not the end of the world. Just keep your maintenance up. Every truck is gonna be good, but trucks are tight right now. I see the dealers; they'll have some trucks in their shop or the new trucks in their yard, and then the next day they're gone. So you know, keep up with the maintenance and what you have. Let me see. I run a fleet of 25 trucks, and every 20,000 mile PMs are working fine on old trucks, 2015, 2016. No big issues so far. Good. That's some good information. Thanks for sharing us. And keeping up with that fleet like that and keeping an eye on everything before it happens is very smart, very good, proactive, especially on the fuel pumps. If you're going 20,000 miles on the filters, you probably having no issues on the oil. I'm sorry, on the fuel pumps. And I have seen, the guys come with some questions on the new oil and then extended intervals. And I'm not like 100% against extended intervals, but what I would do recommend is getting you an oil analysis in place. If you're gonna go extended intervals, that's fine. If you got the truck coming from the dealer, and I know that they're putting 10W30. They're putting 10W30 and telling you 70,000 miles on the intervals. This is what they're telling you out the dealer. Keep in mind, do an oil analysis. Don't do it without an oil analysis. If you're doing it without an oil analysis, you're really risking it. And don't push the fuel filters 70,000 miles. Don't do that. You're putting a real big strain on that fuel filter. If you look at the user manuals, most of the time you're gonna be considered severe duty. There's long duty. I don't know why they make it a little bit complicated where they say this interval is for so many miles traveled a year, and with an MPG at a certain amount is how their interval chart is. Detroit is, but usually I would suggest it's severe, because if you're idling, you're going to shippers, and that's considered severe duty. So I wouldn't go extended intervals without an oil analysis. I know it's tough to find a local oil analysis, guys, but what I always recommend my viewers do is find an oil analysis that's available online that can ship you oil analysis bottles, and you can build a pretty much your history with that company, and do your oil analysis at the end of your oil changes. Trying to pull an oil sample on a truck that's just been sitting is not going to be an accurate reading. You want something that's been running for a long time. In our company, the change is after 30,000. Now, there is lighter oils that are going more extended, guys. I know this, but do an oil analysis, and it makes sense because, listen, this is why they're going lighter oils. So when the oil is splashing around the crank at the bottom of the engine, of course, over time, the engine oil, if you're running, 10W30, 10W30 is actually lighter. But if you're running, all the other brand or the older brands, and I'm sorry, what I'm trying to get to is the heavier oils actually can make more friction on the crankshaft. This is why they're saying that the lighter oils are actually giving you better fuel mileage, because it is a lighter oil and it's actually not that much friction against the crank. Is basically what I'm trying to get out, and hopefully you understand that now. And it's not bad. It's not bad. If appreciate that $5. Appreciate that $5 on that super chat. Appreciate that, man. I'm gonna give me something to eat after I leave here. So I'm not down in the 510 or the 10W30. I'm sorry. I'm not down in this oil. I know it's a lighter oil and it's gonna give you higher fuel mileage because you're gonna have less friction on the crank. I understand that. But what I'm getting at, if you're going at high, if you're going high intervals and you have an oil analysis in place and everything looks good, I still recommend doing fuel filters, but stay on the oil analysis and making sure everything's in place. What you're looking for is good lubricity. You don't want a lot of soot build up in your oil, and you don't want any metals or any kind of foreign contaminants like fuel or coolant. Anything like that is what you want to catch for. You want to catch it way before ahead of time. I talked to this about some of my other viewers about not having an oil analysis. You could have like a light leak of oil or a light leak of fuel going into your oil, and you not know it. You're just going through your oil intervals, so you don't really know it. Appreciate that $5. Who was that? Thanks for your videos, Mr. Adam. Help a lot. What intervals for manual transmissions, Cascadia differentials? 500K. Do them every 500K. Just don't wait. 500K. Make sure you're putting the right oil. What I always do, we always look at the serial number of the engine, and the information is very accessible, Alan. Very accessible. And it's more than likely going to be a 50 synthetic. And, of course, 75. I don't want to misquote it, but 75, 90 on the rear. Double check that, but you're going to go synthetic every 500K. Don't wait. And if you got an automatic DT12, now this takes a whole different type of oil, guys. I had a customer come in here, and this is some information I'd like to share with you guys. So if you've hung out this long and you have an automatic, this is going to work out for you. So Detroit is having issues keeping up with parts, like a lot of manufacturers are, not just Detroit. And the problem is they're turning around manufacturing. They're moving manufacturing from another part of the world to basically it seems like out of Asia, and try to move it to India. And that's taking some time. It's taking some time, and it's causing backlogs. I'm not 100% sure if that's the total cause of why we're having issues with parts, but we have a parts delay. So automatic transmissions is another problem, because Detroit is taking 30 days to get a clutch turned around to you. An OEM clutch for a transmission on a DT12. Now, we've had a customer come in with a clutch getting hot indicator. Okay, so the clutch was getting hot. The guy came in, said that, hey, somebody replaced my clutch, and now I'm having a grinding noise. I'm having a grinding noise at shifting. So we had to pull the transmission down. We inspected it, everything. First thing we found was an air leak. If you have an air leak on your transmission, you're not going to be able to disengage that clutch all the way. So you're going to have trying to back up to a dock, and you're not able to get it in gear because that clutch is not all the way engaged. It's going to overheat that clutch. So in reality, that fault should have been troubleshot by checking to see if air supply is fine, if the clutch is disengaging correctly, all this. So he had somebody replace an aftermarket clutch, and with the aftermarket clutch installed, the manufacturers are not able to make this clutch work with the DT12. Only OEM clutch would work, but you're looking at 30 days wait, so it's big mess. But hey, Alan, I appreciate that $5 super chat, and I would do every 500K. That's called a 3-box change every 500K. And just keep an eye on your differentials and your transmission wherever you park. Make sure you don't have any excessive oil stains around your drive line. That's going to cause you some problems. And if you have any grinding noise, get that checked out. If you go a lighter weight, you go longer time, wear on the bearings more. You know, a lighter weight oil in theory would actually cause the engine to wear faster, especially like this DD15 behind me. This whole cam housing is aluminum. So if you're, it's a, you know, 10, you know, the actual weight before you go 1030 is already a lightweight. It's even a lighter weight. So, you know, everybody, you can use what oil you'd like. I would go with what's recommended or what's, you know, approved by Detroit. And if don't go that far of an interval without an oil analysis. So I appreciate everybody that's joining us. What other questions do we have? What do we got here? What's your advice on how many miles to do an oil change on a 60 series 14 liter? You could still do the same. You could do 20,000. 20,000. Do an oil sample as well. If you're over 1 million miles, see your oil intervals. Checking your oil interval, checking oil samples is kind of like checking the blood of your truck. And I'm going to tell you guys, keeping up with your truck is really important because the demand is going to stay there. And guys, be safe out there, man. If you're a truck driver already, don't let it get to your head, man. Be safe out there. I see truck drivers out here driving like they're in a car. It's very dangerous. You're following, you don't have no following distance. And you're coming in, especially if you're coming into an area, and you could tell a truck that hasn't come, you're coming into an intersection, like say, for example, where two highways meet or two highways merge. You can always tell a truck that hasn't been in the area because they're just hauling butt all the way to that where that intersection happens. You know, no following distance, you know, just trying to get by, and it's really frustrating, guys. If you're a truck driver, be sure to be safe out there, and we need to be the you know, pretty much the example of safety out here. My truck call for 5W30 2020 Volvo. What do you think? You couldn't run 530. Volvo's got a pretty decent blend. What I do mention is still run it doesn't matter if you have a Volvo, if you have a Packard, if you have a Cummins, if you have a Detroit, if you have a Power Stroke. I mean, if you're running oil samples and you want to run oil samples on your gearboxes, you can do that too. These oils, I'm going to get with somebody. I'm going to try to get sponsored. I'll try to get a sponsorship with one of these oil analysis guys. I'll do some research for you guys, so I know you guys. I'll start recommending you somebody. But there's a lot of oil, there's a lot of laboratories, and more than likely they're not going to be local. They're going to be in areas where they do more refinery, like Houston, or what is it, Colorado as well. Have you moved into the new shop? Yes, we have. We're in the new shop, guys. Come and see us. 4140 Langdon Road, Dallas, Texas. We are finally in the new shop. We're still moving a few items, so we still have some stuff at our old shop, but come here if you're coming for service. Give us a shout first. Make an appointment. Thank you for everybody's support. I'm really excited about getting some videos out the rest of this year. I got 60 series video I just shot today. Hey Adam, what do you think about a 1540 series? That's, I mean, Mystic was for the 60 series. I don't recommend it for the DD15. I would go with a T4, T5, a Rotella, but I don't recommend it for the DD15. 60 series, you know, it's a different monster. I've brought this up about the bearings. The bearings are different on the 60 series. They have lead bearings. When they went with the DD15, the DD15 has higher compression, and they're using higher fuel pressure. So what this does is put a larger load on those lower bearings. So they end up getting rid of lead and making them a more durable metal, more strong metal. But what this does is just doesn't allow it to be contaminated. It just scratch up the bearings, and it just makes a mess. Where the 60 series has lead, so if any dirt got in the engine, it just kind of stick to the lead. Either one, getting dirt in the engine is not desirable. You know, when I see these DD15s taken apart outside on a tire, it's just kind of, you know, I'm like, whoa, you know, good luck putting that back together and not contaminating it. It's just very challenging to not to contaminate them and just to have them out like that. What fuel additive cleaner do you recommend? Anything that adds lubricity. I've tried to contact somebody, actually a company that has a blend that I like, but they don't want to pay for us to put them to support, or they don't want to pay us for us to sponsor them. So maybe I'll reach out to them again, see if the T6 is 540 better than 530. Rotella's a good oil. It's a good blend oil. If it's CK4 and above, it's going to be a good oil. And if you're running longer intervals, I would still say the same thing that I say. Run an oil sample, because you can run synthetic and not have anything wrong with the oil, but have fuel going in your oil, and you can have some issues. You can have some really major issues. Shout out to everybody that's online with us, guys. I appreciate everybody's support. I'm probably going to wrap this up here shortly. If you guys want to hit us up on Super Chat, I appreciate that. Give me something to eat on the way home. I'm a tech at Freightliner, and it's a rush place. Well, we don't like to rush. It's a rush place. Is your shop the same? No, we're not. If you know what you're doing, and you wanna if you wanna explore, come give us a shout, man. Come by and talk to us. We need to get some more diagnosticians, guys that know what's going on with these after treatment systems. And the thing is, drivers, you got to understand, when you're coming in for service, your truck is gonna be down. Okay, it's not gonna be quick. Okay, especially if it's a problematic issue. We want to make sure your truck is fine. We're not trying to be rude as a technician or as a shop. We just don't really, the load doesn't really is not as important as it is the workmanship. Because what's worse is if we release the truck under a rush just to get it out, and you go hook up or you go get the load, and now you're in commute to go, drop it off, or in transit, and then you have a breakdown. That's worse than not picking up the load and somebody else getting that load, because we wanted to ensure the truck was put together correctly. That's Adam, has TAT Express going ever extend shop hours? Well, that's a good idea. I know you guys need the service. The thing is, the manpower, I'm working with the resources that I have, and qualified technicians. They're like athletes. You work them, and they work. We all work, and we got to be taken care of. They got to get taken care of. They can't work 7 days a week. It's just wearing people out. I would like to make some shifts, guys. So if you guys listening to my channel and some technicians that might not be happy where you're at, come check us out at TAT, man. We're really competitive when it comes to pay. And we try to attract the best talent out there. So come talk to us, guys. If you're looking to get service, this is what we do. We try to recruit the best guys for us, so that we can get you the best service that we're talking about. All this information that I'll tell you is not easy to look over every truck. So systems are in place, and we have to, monitor these systems to make sure everybody's getting checked out that's here. Making sure the root cause is getting investigated like it needs to. And we understand that you guys are in it, want to be in and out. And we try to respect your time, but at the same time, we want to make sure that your truck is running correctly. So hit us up, man. If you're interested in joining the team, hit us up. We can talk about it. If I go from super single to duals, do I need new wheel studs? You may want to measure them. You have to have at least the threads coming out of the nut coming out, or the nut on the stud. So if you don't have any threads sticking out the end of that nut, then it's not going to be legal, and you would have to go longer studs. So yeah, and you're gonna have to buy new wheels, new tires. Make sure to go with the same height. Don't go with a taller tire, because you want to they want to elevate the truck, because what you're gonna do is throw the speedometer off. And you could throw the RPMs off, and you could throw your fuel mileage off. 1.3 million on my 14 liter. I think I saw that question already. How much for a DD15 overhaul? Yeah. If you clean your DPF filter, EGR valve with a truck with a liable. Well, if you clean Mr. Ass, if you clean your DPF filter and your EGR, yes. If you keep up with maintenance, yes. If you don't excessive idle, yes. If you don't use a PTO application, yes. I know there's a lot of restrictions on these engines, but this is how they're running. A delete you know, a $1,500 delete to patch a $20,000-$30,000 system, you know, it might work for you for a little bit, and this delete could give you some problems later on down the line. I know you guys are like, oh no, you guys are you're just hating against deletes. Man, I have trucks at the shop. We have trucks at the shop with low power due to deletes. I have guys calling me on a daily basis about turbos blowing up left and right. Turbos blowing up left and right. I think this guy put on like 3 turbos out of Canada. He's probably watching right now. He commented 3 turbos. He says he's burning the turbo up 3 times already on a DD15 after delete. So think about that. How much turbos cost? 3 turbos burned up. And the thing is, that's changing the turbo and then it happens again. And then it happens again. Oh man, that's just a nightmare. That's just a nightmare. So when we get trucks that come in that are deletes, you know, guys, we don't want to be like, we want to help you out. We definitely want to help you out. Oh, I got another chat, super chat. Appreciate that. Hey, Adam, appreciate all the great info that you provide. What do you recommend a maintenance for an Eaton 13 Smart Shift? I have a Cascadia. Now, the Eaton is a pretty, you know, common brand all across. The box is the same. So you can go 500K on that, the same. That's what I would recommend, 500K with synthetic. And, you know, just if you want to run an oil analysis when you drop that oil, you can do that as well. And you can see how much metal is in that. You know, usually you'll have some bearing wear if you're a high mileage. Oil is not always going to make your transmission last, you know, that much longer if you have issues already. It will, you know, help maintain it. But if you have like grinding already and then you want to change it, you may have some issues still. So, you know, we had some grinding on an automatic come in before, not a smart shift. Now, Eaton 13 smart shift, they're kind of going away. Detroit didn't really like the way I guess Eaton was developed their smart shift. The smart shift is using like counterbalance technology, centrifugal force, where when the RPM hits a certain amount, the clutch is being released. The bad thing about that is the shift. The way it shifts, it really jerks and it slams, so it's not a really smooth engagement. So now a lot of the manufacturers, Detroit, you know, Cummins, Volvo, they're all coming up with their own clutch actuator driven by air with their own OEM clutches as well, and it's creating a lot smoother shift. Now, if you have an Eaton 13 and that's what you run, do the 500K oil intervals, and that's all you can do. Most shops should still have the parts for these, you know, XY shifters. The only thing I don't like is when you start having electrical problems with that automatic, it just kind of has a no start. And the 2000, what is that, a 17 Cascadia, you know, are you sure that's going to be a smart shift? It is. That's probably like the last one that they did, Detroit put. Most of them is going to be a DT12. Hey, I appreciate everybody that's joining us today. I live in Florida, but I like your channel. Hey, you know what? One day I'd like to move to Florida. Florida seems so nice. I want to go to Tampa Bay. Maybe one day. All your trucks are old style models, engines, M14 series, cats. Need to speak more about Diamond's engine. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it. He says live. Okay, what do you say? My trucks have old style engines, M14 60 series, cat. Well, you know, if you have the M14 Cummins and cat and you're able to still maintain those engines, that's fine. I don't have anything against those engines. They're really solid engines. You know, I grew up with the 60 series. I mean, the M14. There's a bulletproof. I owned the M14. I owned the M14 before I got rid of my trucks. I owned the M14, and that's probably the best truck. That truck would go out. That truck went to California. It was a FLD. And I've never driven it there, but the drivers that I've had driven it to California, driven it up to up north to Chicago running produce. M14s are really solid, and I sold it because it was just tough to attract drivers that would want to drive an older truck, just because how it rode. You know, trying to drive an older truck all the way across the country is very tiring compared to a truck that is rides smooth and has a really smooth ride. It actually helps you. The fatigue is different. Now, I'm not trying to down your older truck. You probably already rebuilt the chassis and everything, and all the suspension. You have solid suspension. And if we're talking about suspension, guys, that needs to get done. And show the shocks, guys. Shocks, cab shocks, front supports on the cab bushings. All this needs to be done, because think about, that's heavy. That cab is heavy, and it weighs a lot. So if you're not replacing the shocks on it, you can have a rougher ride. And Volvo's actually come out with an assist on the gearbox. That it's a new technology. I don't know if you guys saw the commercial with Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's an old video of him like doing the splits. He's like doing the splits on two trucks like this, and it has the steering assist. But what's interesting about this assist on the steering, it says it cuts down like 15% of the driver's fatigue. So think about that. Think about how much fatigue, 15% less fatigue on the driver from going, from moving the steering wheel from side to side. So think about an older truck, how much fatigue that is across the United States can be pretty fatigued getting beat up. SCR conversion efficiency code pop up going up the hill. That's very common on the one box system. What I would suggest is having it checked out by a qualified shop. If you're dosing DEF, enough DEF to the one box, and you don't have excessive soot coming out of that engine, more than likely you got to troubleshoot that one box. The DLCs need to be inspected, and the DPF filters need to be inspected. So I would definitely get that checked out. Ensure that nothing's going on with the truck. This is why I always preach about maintenance. Maintenance is very important. Guys, make sure to hit me up on Super Chat. If you guys got a question that hurry up needs to get answered, we can definitely answer that for you before we wrap this up. We got quite a bit of comments, guys. I appreciate everybody's support. Everybody that's joined us today. I'm really excited that we're here at our new shop, and I might not seem too excited, but I've been kind of shooting all day and just kind of getting all the information, and it's getting back in the groove of things, and it's really, really exciting to get the shop moved in. But we still have a lot ahead of us, guys. We still have a long way ahead of us, especially right now. We're kind of shortage on men. We got a team member down, but he's recovering nicely. And we got another one on vacation, and the guy was really nice. He was asking, he was actually offered to cancel his vacation, which is very nice of him. But we've been waiting for this move for such a long time, and shout out to the GCs who basically delayed the process more than it needed. And I don't want to throw them too far under the bus. I know that we built it during a pandemic, and there was a lot of things that happened during the build which help extend the completion of the project, which later on extends the move. And it was really a big task, a big challenging task to get this new shop completed, and we're very excited about it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, guys, building's not gonna stop, freight's not gonna stop. Keep up with your truck, keep up with your safety, keep up with your license. Make sure you're taking your breaks. Don't let these brokers try to push you 24/7, guys. Their freight is paying more, and it's going to keep paying more. Okay, if you go lighter, I think I got that one already. Hey, Adam, I have a Cummins ISX Rotella T4. That's good. That's a good oil, especially for ISX. Make sure you do your valve adjustments as well. Not too much excessive idling on those Cummins. And check your RP, not your RPMs, but your MPGs. Keep up with your MPGs. MPGs is another key point indicator of your engine on how it's performing. So if you have a solid miles per gallon and it's staying consistent when you're running heavy, bobtail doesn't really matter. When you're running bobtail, you're not making. Some guys don't make money bobtail. Most guys make money pulling loads. So loaded is really where you want to measure your MPGs and how the performance is on your truck. If it starts to drop, you get it looked at. What about fuel additives? I think I covered that one already. I had an issue with the exhaust temperature out of range and couldn't pinpoint the problem. Called the dealer and they updated the MCM on the truck. Was that really the solution? I'm still thinking. Well, that's funny that you said that. If you have an issue with temperature in the one box, you may have to get the one box checked out. We had some temperature issues on the output of the DLC for a viewer of ours, and what we found is that the filter actually slid forward. So when that happens, you start having issues, temperature issues, and basically what was the root cause was a faulty EGR actuator, and the EGR actuator was just causing the engine not to run efficiently or not run correctly, cause excessive soot and face clog the filter, but keeping the driver going and pushing the truck further. Once that face of that filter is clogged with soot, you got to think about it. It's pretty much just solid, and the pressure of the engine is continuously to push against that filter, and which will drive that filter back and out of its seat, and then cause temperature issues because it's not running. That truck actually shut down when it got in. It was pretty tough to having to tear everything down, and it sucks because that one box was actually replaced recent. But guys, if you got a check engine light, I don't know exactly how the problem happened or how it existed. I just know the truck was towed in with multiple codes. If you do have a check engine light, get it checked out, because you can prolong the repair and cause more problems, cause more damage. And I'm not trying to say this to scare you. I'm just giving you some information of what we see in the shop. This has just happened. This is just recent in the shop now. Good thing if you guys are out checking your truck and you see oil, we got a guy here that saw excessive oil on his differential housing, and now he's here getting a differential replaced because the bearings already are shot on it. So we have moved to the new shop. Hi, Adam. I think I got that question already. I'm sorry, guys. When I scroll down, sometimes it jumps all the way to the bottom, so it's tough for me to get the spot on all the comments. I just got a Detroit 12.7 liter, has green coolant. Would it be a good idea to follow Fitzgerald maintenance and go with red shell coolant instead of green coolant? Red coolant, as long as it's name brand, it's very solid coolant. You can run strips as well to check your coolant, so that's a good idea as well. Keep an eye on your coolant, especially if you're storing your DD15. If you got a 12.7 and that's what you bought, what is I'm interested to know what they cost. Did you get it from Fitzgerald? I'm curious to know how they're still putting the engines out on, because it's tough for us to find solid parts. It's tough for us to find quality parts. It hasn't been rebuilt 5 or 6 times. Do you guys install fuel injectors on a Cummins? Yes, sir. We work on a Cummins ISX. I got a Cummins guy. So, yes, sir. We definitely work on Cummins. We work on PACCAR. We work on Volvo as well. So, guys, we don't just work on DD15. We work on most common platforms on the highway right now. Hey, Chief, I have a sizable fleet to take care of. Wondering what your thoughts are about a quick oil drain system that utilize quick connect fittings. Well, there are some quick connect fittings out there, so you can look into those. There's also in PSL, there's some items for updated connectors and some trucks are actually coming with this. So it's not a bad idea, investing in the system to get the oil change done quicker. It's not a bad idea. I know it's not, easy to do a PM on a truck. You shouldn't rush through it. It's probably going to take you anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour to really look over the truck to do it right. Adam, would your shop service an APU? Yes, sir. We do service APUs, Thermo Kings, and carriers only. There was a few APUs that came out that were just kind of back and forth trying to make APUs, but we don't service those. Ran a service call the other night. ECM sending 6.7 volts back through the negative wires on the power plug. Took forever to find, but had to ground to find. I was about to say that ground to the frame because the batteries were. Yep. I was about to say something about a ground, man, because usually pushing pipe through is the negative post. Are you saying it's the ground? I mean, because sometimes that ground could be corroded as well. Depends on what year. Electrical problems are fun. But, it sounds like you're on the right path, man. You've already started looking at the ground. A lot of people don't check that. Good job, Alpha Motive. So, gliders versus DEF new trucks. I mean, I honestly, I like newer trucks. Gliders, I don't know. I see their website, and I wonder what their turnaround time and what the price is on the engine. I haven't called and looked. SCR conversion efficiency, I already covered that one. Get that checked out, guys. Don't push it too far. The 2021 Mac Anthem and that driver's assist, I can't believe it's more problems than it assists. Well, newer technology always has a a learning curve to go through, so that's pretty common. So I wonder what issues did you have? Share what issues did you have? Hello from California. Glad you're doing good in the new shop location. Love Texas. Thank you, California. Big shout out. I'd like to come out to California one day. Hey, would you use fully synthetic in a 60 series? Yeah, I would, and I would run a oil analysis. Got a 12.7 green coolant. I covered that one. You can go with red. And also check the coolant. Make sure that the nitrate levels are good. You don't want too much of some, you want the balance right. If not, then you will have issues with corrosion and pitting on your sleeves. And that is no good because it's going to end up causing that engine to fail earlier than needed. Saludos, amigo. Buenos tardes. Hello, Adam. What is a used Pete Cummins? How many miles max? Okay, how many miles max would you recommend on a used engine? Now, probably no more than 500. If you go higher, then you're probably going to be paying less. But maintenance is key, guys. I always talk about maintenance. Make sure, guys, if you got any more questions, hit me up on Super Chat. We're about to wrap this up. I'm about to get to the house and enjoy the rest of the evening and be back at it tomorrow. So, guys, if you were watching us and you're coming by to the shop tomorrow, hit us up. Give us a call. I appreciate everybody's support. Tons of comments. Everybody, good show. I appreciate everybody that's joining us today. Probably going to wrap this up from Canada. Thanks for watching. But, hey, I would just go with a good maintenance program. Make sure that your maintenance is there if you go with a high-mileage truck. I've had guys come in, and one guy came in, and he got a lot of maintenance done at another shop before he showed up to mine. And it's good that he got it done. It's preventive maintenance. He got a rocker box done. And he showed me some pictures, guys. He showed me some pictures of what it looked like whenever that mechanic opened up the top of that engine. And let me tell you guys, it looked like sludge. And it was kind of concerning to me because he was having loss of coolant. And he had lost some coolant. He already drove from across a few states already. So really, after you get your engine up to 1,500 RPMs on a DD15, you should be able to purge all the coolant air. But I noticed he had a drop in the coolant system, and it was kind of concerning to me. But the other technicians like, oh, don't worry about it. But guys, I'm only gonna give you my advice because of what I see, and these are things that I feel like aren't right. So if I bring it up to you, I'm just advising you, hey, check it out. Especially with guys that prolong a repair, you're going to cause more issues. So keep all this in mind. If you want to check us out at our new shop, we're at 4140 Langdon Road, Dallas, Texas 75253. I had a good time today, guys. Good live. We're probably going to go live again next week. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate everybody that's joining us. Thanks for all the likes, all the subscribers. And guys, if you know anybody that you can use this information, be sure to share my information, share my channel. Hit us up on Super Chat, guys. If you got Alpha Motive, what do you got, man? Yeah, it was a ground. I ran a whole new ground wire, did ECM, hooked straight to the frame ground. Track runs perfect. Yeah, man, them grounds are fun. Electrical's fun, guys, and it's not. Actually, I'm being sarcastic. Electrical is not that fun. But it's nice when you find something like a ground like that. Heck, that I bet you're gonna sleep good. Bet you slept good on that one. It's the ones that you can't figure out that won't let you sleep. Guys, I'm gonna head out, man. I appreciate everybody's support. Hit us up on the Cash App if any of this information is useful and help you save some money. Guys, thanks for all the support. Next time we're gonna go live again. I'm gonna be released that 60 series video, so rewind this if you missed the information that I shared about 60 series and the different types of 60 series. Like the intro, like Amaya video you did. Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, we should do another video with Amaya. I see him. He's doing great out there. Hope everybody's like the content. We're gonna keep sharing this content. Richard, I appreciate that comment. And we're gonna wrap everything up. Until next time, guys. I'll see you, and you guys be safe. Later, guys.